Welcome back, everyone. Today we are learning more about our 3D shapes and their attributes. Today, our learning target is I can identify 3D shapes and their attributes and compare them to other 3D shapes. So we're going to think about our 3D shapes and their attributes and compare them to one another. To get us ready, let's review some of those 3D shapes that we learned the other day. Let's see if any of these 3D shapes look familiar.
Cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone.
They're all 3D shapes.
There are many places to find a sphere, like if a tennis ball happens to roll near. You can shoot a sphere playing basketball, and you see one in the sky when the moonlight falls. Planets are spheres, whether red or blue. The bearings and machines are tiny spheres too. Marbles are spheres that roll around. Spheres are exercise balls that bounce up and down. Spheres are shapes that are perfectly round, like balls that tend to roll along the ground.
Let's go!
Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. Singing through the microphone. Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. Singing through the microphone. Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. All 3D shapes.
3D shapes.
One kitchen cylinder is a soup can. They look the same from New York to Japan. Pens can be cylinders we use every day. Power poles are cylinders that bring power our way. Toilet paper rolls are cylinders too. If they're missing spaces are added by you. Some jars might be cylinders as well. When it comes to straws, it can be hard to tell. Cylinders have just circular bases that are congruent parallel faces.
Let's go!
Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. Singing through the microphone. Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. Singing through the microphone. Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. All 3D shapes.
3D shapes.
The Egyptian pyramids stand very tall. Those umbrellas look like pyramids before rainfall. Trees can look like pyramids touching the sky. A pyramid block of cheese, give it a try. Some house rooftops are pyramids too, and some perfume bottles with scents that are new. Pyramid shaped paperweights on a desk, looking their best as they stand so picturesque. With the base and apex and faces, pyramids are found in the most wondrous places.
Let's go!
Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. Singing through the microphone. Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. Singing through the microphone. Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. All 3D shapes.
3D shapes.
If you roll dice, then you roll cubes. Iron crystal cubes can be grown in tubes. Blocks are cubes. Much of the time, clocks can be cubes, make an hourly chime. A box in the mail might be a cube shape. Ice cubes can cool your ice cream shake. Some cube containers store food in the fridge, and some concrete cubes can hold up a bridge. Faces of a cube are all a square, so we can spot them almost anywhere.
Let's go!
Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. Singing through the microphone. Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. Singing through the microphone. Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. All 3D shapes.
3D shapes.
Waffle cones can hold vanilla ice cream. Hats on witches are cones that might make you scream. Orange cones can show dangers in the road. Teepees are cones that make a great abode. Castle turrets are cones to watch outside. A flashlight cone of light is a great night guide. Cone-shaped cups may hold something to eat. Some shoes look like cones when they're on your feet. With a circular base and a pointy vertex, cones are always a favorite 3D object.
Let's go!
Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. Singing through the microphone. Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. Singing through the microphone. Sphere, cylinder, pyramid, cube, cone. All 3D shapes.
3D shapes.
Visit numberrock.com for exclusive.
I hope that some of those 3D shapes looked very familiar to you. So today, guys, we are going to think about those 3D shapes, their attributes, and how we can compare them. So we have here a column for the cone and a column for the cylinder. And then we have both items in the middle. Things that are just about the cone, we're going to put over here. Things that are just about the cylinder, we're going to put over here. And things that they have in common, we're going to put in here. Are you ready? Let's get started. I'm going to show a cylinder and a cone on my desk. And we're going to look at these two objects and see what we notice about them. I'm going to turn them both on their side. What do you notice about both of these objects? Do they share an attribute that is the same? That's right. Both the sphere and the cylinder roll. Go ahead and look at your shapes and see if you can explore the sphere and the cylinder and see if you can think of any attributes that they might have in common or that they might have differences. When you're ready, hit play. What did you notice? I noticed that they both can roll on their side. But look what they're doing as they stand on their flat face. Are they rolling? No, that's because both of them have a flat face. And they can stand when they're on their flat face. How many flat faces does a cylinder have? 1, 2. How many flat faces does a cone have? It has 1. So that's something that they do not have in common. The cylinder has 2 flat faces, but the cone only has 1. What about the shape of their faces? Do you notice something that is the same? That's right. Both of them have a circular face. So that would be something that they share in common. What about vertexes or vertices? How many vertices does a cylinder have? How many vertices does a cone have? That's right. The cylinder has no vertices, but the cone has 1 vertex. Let's see how we did. We noticed that the cone had 1 flat face, but the cylinder had 2 flat faces. The cone had 1 vertex, and the cylinder had no vertices. But I did see a lot of things that they had in common. They both roll on their side. They both had a circular face. They can stand on their face. And they both have curved or rounded sides. Great thinking today, guys. Let's try another couple of shapes to see how we can compare and contrast them. We did a great job of comparing and contrasting the attributes of a cone and a cylinder. Let's try our next 2 shapes. The rectangular prism and a cube. I'm going to show it so that you can see it a little bit better. I want you to take a look at your cube and your rectangular prism. If you have your shapes, hit pause and go ahead and explore. If you don't have your shapes, take a look at mine and see what kind of things do you notice that are the same or that might be a little different from each other. What do you notice about the sphere in the rectangular prism? Well, I noticed that they both have flat surfaces all the way around. So neither one of them have rolled because they neither one have a curved side. What else did you notice about the cube and the rectangular prism? That's right, I noticed that the cube has square-shaped faces and the rectangular prism has square-shaped faces. How many faces does the cube have? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it has 6 flat surfaces. What about the rectangular prism? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be something that they have in common. They both have 6 flat surfaces. I wonder about their vertex. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what is 4 and 4? That's right, 8. So the cube has 8 vertices. What about the rectangular prism? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they both have 8 vertices. They share a lot in common. But what else do you notice about them? I noticed that as well. I noticed that the cube has all square sides that are the same size. All of their faces are equal. But if I look at the rectangular prism, I notice that it has 2 short faces, while the rest of the faces are long. It's like they took it and they stretched it. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangular faces. So that would be something that they don't have in common. Even though they have square faces, this one is not equal all the way around. So I can see that the rectangular prism and the cube have a lot in common, but they also have some things that are different. This one is stretched out with 4 longer sides and 2 short sides, whereas the cube, all of our sides are the same size or equal. They had all of these things in common though. They were all flat, they don't roll, they have 6 flat surfaces, they do have square faces, and they both had 8 vertices. By thinking about a shape's attributes. It helps you to recognize what they have in common versus what makes them different and unique. My last set that we're going to think about is a sphere and a cylinder. What do you notice right off the bat between a sphere and a cylinder? That's right. They both roll. Why is it that they both roll? That's right. They both have curved or rounded sides. But what do you notice that might be different about them? That's right. The cylinder can stand, but the sphere just keeps on rolling. Why is it that the cylinder can stand, but the sphere cannot? That's right. The cylinder has two flat surfaces, so it can stand. But the sphere does not have any flat surfaces, so it just keeps on rolling. Did you notice anything else about the cylinder and the sphere? Neither one of them have any vertices or corners. That would be something they have in common. So now that we have talked about our 3D shapes and we've determined their attributes and what makes them unique, we are going to do this sheet together. Can you help me fill it out? We are going to read the sorting rule that is on the side of the paper. Then we are going to look in each row to see if there is a shape that matches the sorting rule. Our first sorting rule is one flat surface. So I am looking for a shape that has one flat surface. Take some private think time. Which shape only has one flat surface? Did you say the cone? That's right. I can see that the cone only has one flat surface, so I would only need to circle the cone. I know a sphere does not have flat surfaces, and the cylinder has two. The cube has 6, but the sorting rule says only 1. Let's look at our next one. This next one says 8 vertices, and we know those 8 vertices are 8 corners. Can you find the shape in this row that has 8 vertices? That's right. The cube has 8 vertices. I know that this one and this one have no vertices, and the cone only has 1. Let's look at the next one. 2 flat surfaces. So I am looking for a shape that has 2 flat surfaces. Which shape do you see that has 2 flat surfaces? That's right. The cylinder has 2 flat surfaces. What about a shape with 6 flat surfaces? Can you find the shape in this row with 6 flat surfaces. Great thinking, guys. You're right, it is the rectangular prism. And our last one, can you find the shape with 0 vertices? The shape that has 0 vertices. That one was a tricky one. You could have said the sphere because it has no corners or vertices. But is that the only one that would follow this rule? No. I know it can't be the cube because it has 8 vertices. And it can't be the cone because it has 1. But remember, we also learned that the cylinder has 0 vertices as well. Sometimes when you're sorting shapes, you have to think about what things have in common as well as what they don't. Both of these shapes have 0 vertices, so I would have needed to circle both of them because they both fit this category. Sometimes there can be more than one answer. We did a great job of identifying our shapes and their attributes and comparing them today. I hope you've learned a lot about our shapes and continue to do so. I'll see you later. Have a great day.